Hello, Prashat Gatkal sir. I'm Chinmay Kulkarni. So, can you tell us about your professional practice or experience in your professional practice?
Thank you, Chinmay. Thank you, Idea College, for calling me here. It has been a great experience to come back to the college or the professors from whom you have learned and gained the knowledge with which you are leading your day-to-day life and the practice. So, as far as my educational background goes, after doing my architecture from BMUP's college, I did my masters in product design from School of Planning and Architecture. And after finishing my master's course, then I started practicing as a product designer. Then I came across the requirement of tensile roofing structures by my fellow architects, and then I took up that as a, because it was a connection between architectural requirements and a new product to be developed. So uh, because of my product design experience, I could actually translate from that to the tensile roofing structure business and cater to the needs of architects. So I closely work with architects for their requirements and customize tailor-made tensile roofing structures for them.
Oh, great. So, sir, can you tell us how do you find this idea of vertical studio?
Well, this is really a different idea, vertical studio, because during our academic times we had a compartmental way of education. So here in vertical studio, when you have co-education system, the junior students get to learn more from while they are interacting with the senior students, and this concentrated time span with which you are thinking on one subject with a focus, that really matters a lot. It actually exposes you to many things. One is like what things you don't know, and the pressure which it creates. So it also creates a time pressure, because sometimes learning happens over a period of time. So in some way it is good, and in some for like particularly for design ideas, you have to actually inculcate and then think over it, rethink, and you need to have that time space to be given for your mind to come up with fresh ideas. Otherwise, sometimes it might happen that you get stuck. So there are pros and cons of both the things. But as a idea, it is fantastic. It gives a different way of looking at a problem in a given time span, and it actually relates to the way we practice our profession also. Right? It is quite similar to that.
So, how do you find this year's topic, which is public toilets, a functional failure?
Yeah, public toilets. It has been a functional failure, but for many reasons. Because if the kind of products which have been used in any public toilet are the same which we use in our own households or other institutes or institutions, but they fail at public level for two reasons. One is the poor construction techniques used, or construction quality.
Right.
That is the prime reason. And secondly, because it's when a public toilet is not designed with the to meet the expectations of the user, then the user, instead of it becoming a user friendly toilet, it becomes a user abusive toilet. And users start abusing it because the design doesn't honor their requirements. Either it be design wise, design quality, the quality of the space, or the quality of workmanship and materials which are being used. So it's not just a functional failure, it's a behavioral failure also. Behavioral failure from the designers or the executors point of view, because the people who use that toilet, they are not anyway involved in its making. So they are just plain users, and when it is not user centric or user friendly, they tend to abuse it or misuse it, or they are reluctant to use it in the way it is to be used.
So, how have you arrived to this particular topic, uh, the solution for this particular topic?
Yeah, actually, to arrive at a solution is really difficult. So we have to work at different levels. But first of all, the psyche of people involved, all the stakeholders, so primarily the designers, they should understand the complete need. Then the people who are the providers, they should understand that they are providing the basic necessity. So to answer nature's call is your primary right, and it has to be given that kind of uh, treatment which is required. So it should not be a neglected or a secondary facility which we are giving. It is the most important facility in the streetscape or in the public infrastructure which the government or the city laws, bylaws makers, they have to provide for. If that is not provided to the right place, then it is going to fail. So it's a complex situation. And then for the users, anything which is given for free, they feel that they have the right to abuse it or use it as they want. So that behavioral change has to happen through when we give something which is really excellent, then the person also thinks that whether he should vandalize it or not. So he'll think twice. So that is my take on it. So we need to give something which is high in quality, high in class.
So, sir, I would like to ask you, after working with these students for last 3 days, how do you see change in them, the approach of those students towards design?
Yeah, so design is basically always experiential. If you can experience something and then you try to understand and then you try to give solution, it makes a worthwhile, then you can provide a worthwhile solution which caters to that particular need. So understanding that need is of prime importance, and that due to this, the way the vertical studio was designed, we could take them to the site, we could make them experience what they have not experienced, luckily or unluckily that they have not used any. I could find that few of the students had never been to a public toilet, and then the way they reacted showed that they have actually understood like what a malfunctioned or a ill-designed structure can do to the society. So that must be a good learning for them, that how responsible design is in satisfying the user needs.
So, what do you think? What is your takeaway from this particular vertical studio topic, or in overall vertical studio?
Yeah, like it has been intense in the sense it was very demanding, not just for the students, but as a mentor. And with this topic especially, it's such a topic which I have been working on for at least thinking to solve it for past 20 years. But there are layers and layers of issues involved. So when we are trying to teach them, we are trying to, these being architecture students, we are trying to teach them the design from the design realm, that what they need to do to answer this need. Had they been some other students like social, then it would have been at different level. But for architecture students, design and construction technique, technology, that would come first, and understanding that the services which are involved, the technology which is involved, and then of course the user psychology.
Correct.
That these, it's a mix of all these things which to be able to explain it to the students, to give them that experience and make them understand, because they had questions with all the explanations that why this, why not it, like why it has to be in this manner. They were having these questions. So to make them understand that people do behave in certain manner in public places and differently at private places. So that psychological difference and understanding that, and to make people understand, was a great takeaway, that how to understand and make people understand your point of view.
So my last question is, what is your message to the students of architecture in general?
It has always been my a message is something which if you do that, then only you can give it as a message. Is what I believe. So I have always been learning by doing and learning from failing also, because when you do something you are bound to fail and then learn from that. That is one thing. But other way, there is also one more way, that is taking help of mentors or gurus. That actually makes your life easier. And I would give them a message that you should do both the things thoroughly. Don't just rely on your own things, because you can also learn from others' mistakes and you can learn fast with less rate of failure. So have a mentor, have a guru. That would be my message to the students.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.